to Tales from Hor'Izon, where short stories from our TTRPG world come to life. I'm your world forger, Neil, and today's story is The Skyward Dream. Let's begin. The warm Anukan wind tussled Kiran's ears as he gazed up at the towering cliffs of the Windrider's roost. The Gajendra youth, barely past his 16th summer, stood at the base of the skyward path, his thick grey hide shimmering with the salt of the sea breeze. Above him, golden skywings swept through the sky, their riders maneuvering with effortless grace, catching the thermals that spiraled up from the jagged coastline. Kiran had dreamed of this moment since he first saw a Windrider streak across the sky, their harness and skywing making them one with the wind. But his kind were not made for the sky. Gajendra were broad and strong, their ancestors shaped by the river and the land, not the heavens. Yet he had promised his father, he would stand among them. The climb to the roost was a test in itself. The narrow path wound up the cliffside, carved by centuries of Windrider feet and hands. The sandstone crumbled into Kiran's weight, but he moved with steady determination, gripping the carved holds and hauling himself upward. Each step was a silent defiance of those who doubted him, of the Windriders who laughed when he had first asked to train. By the time he reached the top, his limbs ached and his lungs burned. The roost spread before him, a network of wooden platforms, wind-tattered banners, and the grand aviary where the great skyhawks nested. The scent of oiled leather, sea air, and feathers filled his senses. Master Ava, the eldest of the Windriders, stood waiting. Her plum-coloured robes flapped in the wind, and her piercing hawk-like eyes studied him. "You returned," she said. "I said I would." Kiran straightened his posture despite his exhaustion. "I wish to take the trial." The other Windriders gathered, some whispering, some shaking their heads. A Gajendra had never taken the trial. The skywings were too small for him. The harnesses were made for leaner frames. But Master Ava simply nodded. "Then you will fly." The trial was simple in theory. Launch from the high platform, catch the wind, and land safely at the marker on the distant plateau. In practice, it was the test that separated Windriders from dreamers. Kiran stepped onto the launch platform, the custom harness, stitched together after weeks of work, tight across his chest. The skywing, reinforced and broadened to compensate for his weight, flexed with each shift of his shoulders. Ava stood beside him. The sky does not care for your doubts, nor your fears. It only asks that you trust it. Kiran swallowed, then stepped forward. The wind roared as he leapt. For a moment, panic clawed at him. His heavy frame tipped forward, the air resisting him. But then the skywing caught the updraft. His stomach lurched as he soared, the ground falling away beneath him. He adjusted his grip, tilting the skywing, feeling the air move through him, with him. The sky did not reject him, it welcomed him. The Windrider's cheers were distant as he angled toward the plateau. His landing was not perfect. He hit the ground with a stumble, rolling onto the sand. But when he stood, breathless and grinning, he saw Master Ava descending toward him, her own skywing catching the wind. She landed before him, studying him in silence. Then with the faintest smile, she placed a feathered crest in his hand. "Welcome, Windrider." This story takes place in Hor'Izon, a world built for tabletop role-playing. All you need is a set of dice and the Hor'Izon guidebook, coming soon. Sign up at the link in the description to stay updated. Thank you for listening, and please join us again for another Tale from Hor'Izon.